Book 25, The Moon's Hidden Pull. When you look up at the night sky, the moon seems to be a shapeshifter. Some nights it is a brilliant glowing circle, and on others it's just a tiny sliver of silver. But the moon itself never actually changes shape. What you're seeing is the sun's light reflecting off the moon's surface as it travels around our planet. Because the moon orbits Earth, the angle of the sunlight hitting it constantly changes from our point of view. This changing perspective creates what we call moon phases. When the moon is exactly between Earth and the sun, the side facing us is completely dark, which is called a new moon. As it moves along its orbit, we see more of the illuminated side, creating crescent and quarter shapes. When the Earth is between the sun and the moon, the entire face of the moon is lit up, giving us a spectacular full moon. This entire cycle takes about 29.5 days to complete. Have you ever wondered if someone in Australia sees the same moon phase as someone in Canada? The answer is yes. No matter where you are on Earth, everyone sees the exact same moon phase on any given day, because the moon is so incredibly far away, about 238,000 miles. Our different locations on Earth don't change the angle enough to make the moon look different. We all share the very same lunar schedule. The moon does much more than just light up the night. It physically pulls on our planet. The moon's gravity is strong enough to grab onto Earth's oceans, creating a bulge of water that follows the moon as Earth rotates. This is what causes our daily high and low tides. During a full moon or a new moon, the sun's gravity lines up with the moon's gravity, creating extreme, powerful ocean movements called spring tides. This lunar rhythm completely controls marine life. For example, the Great Barrier Reef experiences the largest synchronized mating event on the planet, all triggered by the moon. Once a year, a few days after a full moon, millions of corals release their eggs and sperm into the ocean at the exact same time. They use the specific brightness of the moonlight and the pull of the tides as a biological alarm clock. Animals on land are also deeply influenced by the moon. Certain nocturnal predators like owls and lions are more active and successful hunters during the bright light of a full moon. On the other hand, many insects use the light of the moon to navigate. Moths fly at a constant angle to the moonlight to keep themselves flying in a perfectly straight line through the dark forests. What about humans? For centuries, people believed the full moon caused strange behavior. In fact, the word lunacy comes from luna, the Latin word for moon. While the moon doesn't actually make people crazy, before electricity was invented, a bright full moon meant people stayed up much later. This lack of sleep made people cranky and caused more accidents, which is likely where the myth of full moon madness originally started. The brightness of the moon even influenced history's criminals. Before streetlights, a bright full moon was sometimes called a thief's moon or a robber's moon because it provided enough light for outlaws to travel and raid stagecoaches at night. However, city burglars actually preferred the dark new moon because the absolute darkness made it much easier for them to hide from the guards and slip away unseen. Sometimes the moon puts on a special show. Because the moon's orbit is an oval, it sometimes gets much closer to Earth than usual. When a full moon happens at this closest point, it's called a supermoon, and it looks visibly larger and much brighter in the sky. And if you hear someone say, once in a blue moon, they are talking about a month that has 2 full moons. The second one is called a blue moon, and it's quite a rare mathematical quirk. The most dramatic event of all is a lunar eclipse, which is sometimes called a blood moon. This happens when the Earth perfectly blocks the sun from hitting the full moon. Instead of going completely dark, the moon turns a deep, eerie red. This is because the only sunlight reaching the moon is filtering through Earth's atmosphere, essentially projecting every sunrise and sunset on Earth onto the moon's surface all at once. Glossary. Lunar cycle, the 29.5-day period it takes for the moon to go through all its phases. Gravity, an invisible force that pulls objects toward each other, like the moon pulling Earth's oceans. Synchronized, happening at the exact same time and speed. Lunacy, an old word for madness, originally thought to be caused by the full moon eclipse, when one celestial body completely or partially blocks the light from another.